What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Path of the Network Marketer. It is day 35, episode 35. 35 episodes in on this at least 100 day, 100 episode journey. Yeah. Well, first of all, welcome to the show. If you're brand new, thank you for checking us out. I do encourage you to follow or subscribe, whatever happens to be on the particular app that you're listening on, because we do have a new episode every day, at least for the next, until we hit 100, and then we'll see what happens from there. And of course, for those of you guys who are brand new, welcome back, and thank you for continuing to support. We just finished, yesterday, we just wrapped a three-part series on how influencers make money on social media. And so we're definitely going to kind of, not switch gears necessarily, because I tend to like to build on topic on top of topic and continue it as a through conversation. However, okay, so what's on my mind is that there are definitely some limitations to using social media as your primary source of exposure, right? Like, yes, it's a great place to grow audience, and it's a great place to grow your reach. However, there are limitations around the individual platforms wanting the revenue streams to be very much to stay in-house as possible. And you see these changes starting to happen. In particular, Instagram, they're creating like subscriptions situations for different channels, so that they can get a piece of the pie, right? Like a ton of money is being made by influencers using their platform, and so if they can get a piece of it, why not? And so the ecosystem is always going to be ever changing on social media. So that's gonna, I think, regularly create limitations, and so we'll get into that on future episodes, maybe tomorrow and moving forward. But today, I really just want to, I bring that up because I want to touch on limitations. I was thinking about this today, because it really, it's a mindset talk, right? So I love talking about mindset, and mindset is I think the biggest part of the equation when it comes to whether or not you succeed in whatever endeavor that you're undertaking. I mean, we can talk about building businesses and network marketing, and we can also talk about like health changes. All of those things, the success or failure rest on your mindset. And so I talk about mindset a lot, and what's been on my mind recently is limitations, and how limitations kind of permeate into your thinking. Here's the thing: it's totally fine. Yeah, and you guys will, I think, as you listen to the show, you'll learn that I very very rarely, if ever, I try not to. Let's just put it that way. I try not to frame things in either wrong or right. They're just how it is, from observation. It's the mindset, the mind frame of limitations. It's okay, right? It's natural. If you hear a new idea or a new tactic or a new strategy for your network marketing business, and the immediately what pops in your head is limitations, that's fine. That's normal, right? If you're brand new, obviously you're limited in your thinking in terms of what's possible and whether or not you can do those things. And then, of course, you frame it in a way in your head. Does that actually even work? That's okay. Again, it may come from inexperience. Also, if you have experience, it's also okay to think in limitations, because, from your experience, you may see these certain parameters, and this is X, Y, and Z why this particular strategy or tactic won't work, or potentially you could see some roadblocks. So limitations is fine. The thing is, thinking of limitations is completely different than thinking in limitations, right? Thinking in limitations is a mindset, whereas thinking of limitations, you can potentially still go beyond those limitations and think in solutions, right? Thinking in limitations and then thinking in solutions. Thinking of limitations and then thinking of solutions. Thinking in limitations is having a mindset that just letting the thought process stop at the limitation and never going beyond that, right? Thinking of the limitation and being like, well, it doesn't work. without having actually tried to actually solve the problem, number one, or come up with a solution. And then number two, put anything into practice to solve that solution. So you have more information as to whether or not the thing won't actually work in the first place. So it's a very subtle difference between thinking of limitations versus thinking in limitations, but it's the subtlety in the language makes for a huge difference in the practical in the practicality of it. Again, you can think of limitations, which is fine because you can solve those limitations, but if you think in limitations, then everything you see that doesn't jive with your specific belief systems about a particular thing will always be a limitation, and you'll never solve anything. You'll never solve any of the problems that you'll come across because you think in limitations and you never get beyond that. So it's really important distinction. So moving forward, be really cognizant and aware of yourself and your thought process. Be really mindful of self, because that's really important in order to be able to make mindset shifts and to be able to progress in your personal growth. Like if you don't do that, then you'll always be limited to that way of thinking. So that's the episode today. That's the message I want to leave with you guys. Hopefully that makes sense. Of course, you can always reach out to me if it doesn't, or if you have any comments or a perspective that you want to share. But again, make a distinction and really be aware of your own thought process. Are you thinking of limitations or are you thinking in limitations? And if you're the second, then you got to really work on making those adjustments so that you open up your mind. So that's my message for today, guys. More to come from me tomorrow and the next day and the next day after that. So until then, be well. Be safe. We'll see you in the next episode.